skybox with Subi, Stumpy, and Cole.
It's finally time. You've seen around the arena. You can hear it for yourselves. This is the match everybody was waiting to see. Subi Space Station Gaming, unbelievably popular around these parts.
I mean, it feels like they've turned Dickey's Arena into the International Space Station at this point. Home field advantage for Space Station Gaming, and while they've showed flashes of brilliance throughout the season, so much potential shown, they had a heroic battle through the Swiss stages.
But they come up against Endpoint, a team from the UK with an honorary Finn, a man who has been to Worlds multiple times, has come second in a couple of them. It is his chance to carry on through our group stage, but you cannot talk about Endpoint without talking about Archie, their top performer. He has done a phenomenal job to keep them in this competition.
Oh, what a start! That's the way to raise the roof for Space Station Gaming. Arsenal with the early lead.
And no one you want to get the first goal other than Arsenal. He was feeling so unwell throughout the Swiss stages. He clawed his way throughout, and he's showing us he is alive and well and ready to take Space Station to victory.
Picking himself up off the floor from the illness, not the backflip that he did on Rizzo's stream. He has been instrumental to the success that Space Station have seen so far. It's been wonderful to watch. And this is going to be Endpoint's hardest enemy yet, Space Station. They're a favourite in the crowd and in the tournament.
Oh, that could be a chance. Archie could have left that one for Metsonoris. The man who's been in this team for so very long. Should have played off. It does fall for Wave. And that is an open net miss. And that is the disaster start that Endpoint wanted to avoid.
And if you're on Endpoint, you gotta just forget about that one. Opportunities are gonna come, and more will present themselves as Arsenal gets denied off the backboard there. Archie just a quick poke at net, and here comes Daniel. Big defense needed from Space Station Gaming, but Endpoint can't find the mark there. And first minute come and gone here in this series.
As it was mentioned on the desk, Europe right now is having an incredibly hot competition against all other regions. Europe versus the world. We are 13-4. It is gigantic in favour. And against North America, it's 6-1. This is the chance for Space Station to turn it around.
Which is great news for Endpoint, but not so much. Sorry, great news for Europe, but not so much for Endpoint, who are currently on a 5-series loss streak in EU. They need to get going soon. That's a slightly better look for them. Metsonoris coming in. Space Station reminding us they can defend as well as throw the all-out attack. Those bumps and demos that they're so known for. They started this first game a lot better.
And Rettles has really shown those demos throughout the Swiss stages. #1 in demos per game, and you can already tell that's the game plan against Endpoint. Specifically trying to take out Archie, but Archie launches that one force. Oh, nice save there from Arsenal to push that off the backboard, slow down the push from Endpoint, and relating Wave. Good 50 to keep it alive, but Space Station, still have plenty of boost in the tanks.
Wave and Mets are both keeping that attack going until it falls to Arsenal to remove Archie from the conversation entirely. Rettles, the man who has had an opportunity to show that he is up there with Daniel. He had to fill in a little bit when Arsenal was feeling under the weather, and he has done that job incredibly. Archie on the right-hand side with the mid-boost. Metsonoris up just a touch late, and the speed from Arsenal has been brilliant in the competition.
And Archie is a player that we need to see so much from. He finished 8th with Semper in full, and it was at this tournament that it was Semper that knocked Endpoint, his new team, down to the lower bracket. So much to prove. But a man who has so much talent to do the Space Station's Daniel. Laniel has been so affectionately coined.
Oh boy!
Oh! That one ends up going in. 2-0 Space Station.
And I love this push from Daniel. Not only gets the boost, big flick, but just there, just in case of a mistouch. And relating Wave can't push that into the corner. Daniel there for the punishment.
The positioning from Daniel there is utterly confident, and the crowd begin their bows. Chanting Laniel, knowing that he is one of their favourite players. I loved when he came on screen earlier on. Just during the walkout, set up their controllers. He was so loved around this place.
And it's so important for Space Station to not only get the first goal, but to extend that lead here. We've seen how brilliant teams have been after getting that first goal. 77% of the teams here getting the victory if they score first. And Space Station Gaming, while they did get that first strike, they don't look like they're slowing down whatsoever. Rettles pushing the issue there, and Daniel keeping the offense alive.
Space Station Gaming looking hungry for that third. Rettles! Look at the pace that he's showing. Metsonoris left stuck on the floor. Rettles is going to punish.
Rettles as well, just being so confident. Wave giving the ball to Metsa, who did not read that whatsoever. I put that more towards Wave because while you passing into your own box to your player and sending it behind them, an error on the backboard, Retals taking full advantage.
And right now, all Spacestation Gaming is doing is poaching themselves in the offensive half, waiting for missed touches, waiting for miscommunications from Endpoint, and so far, it's paying off in dividends.
We've seen a couple of infield passes from Endpoint, but they're being closed down so easily right now from a Spacestation Gaming roster that are completely having the read on their opponents. Endpoint needs to mix things up. Archie has the boost. He has Relating Wave in the center, who started slowly. This could wake him up. Endpoint with a reminder of how dangerous they can be.
Relating Wave had a couple of errors in this game so far, but he turns it on when Archie sends it his way. Outspeeding Retals, destroying the top right corner of that goal.
I don't know if we've seen a better redirect other than that Justin goal that we got to see throughout the Swiss stage.
You sound like Dazzlerin, mate. Keep going on about that.
That's a compliment in my book. Arsenal launches high, crossbar denies, Retals post, but Archie covers it up. And Endpoint look like they've shaken out the cobwebs.
Huge save from Archie there to keep Endpoint within sniffing distance of this opening game. And he gets him down the other side as well. Endpoint wanted to put on some attack. Archie's getting more involved. He makes it to Mexanoris. Arsenal pulls him down. And Daniel with that early flick from the goal can see it away for now.
The mechanics saving Spacestation there, otherwise Endpoint looked on to get a second goal, but nobody hanging around did not want to take the chance that Daniel, of all people, was going to mess up.
Endpoint just seemed to have sped things up a little bit though. Spacestation Gaming have to stay strong, keep on fighting, keep on in there. Here is Daniel. As soon as he rises, the crowd gets so expectant. You can just hear the buzz around the place when he's on the ball, but not quite a goal this time.
They just refuse to rotate out. I love how close they're playing offense. But Metsanaris, no boost left in the tank. That opportunity could have paid off for them, but still pressing forward. They need a goal right here, right now.
Metsanaris into the corner. The ball has to fall to an Endpoint player. It's not quite happening for them. Relating Wave. He gets that second touch. It's missed by Daniel. Just going to go across the goal. Endpoint maybe would have had a chance there. But Spacestation Gaming look like they have taken the sting out of the Endpoint tail. They're going to see this one away. The crowd are counting it down. You can hear them. SSG are going to take game one.
Game one going the way of the home favourites, with Metsanoris trying to keep this one alive, but nothing will be able to turn back time. Errors have been made. Spacestation, the benefactor, there on the first match.
Well, and you also have to think about Endpoint missing that wide open net. It was an opportunity thrown away, and they could have tied the game up there. But get that one out of your heads. Game two is on its way. You got to stay cool and calm and collected up on that stage.
Somebody in the crowd having a sign saying, let's see some demos. They've come to the right team, Spacestation Gaming. They are leading the leaderboard in those. They have been incredibly aggressive.
Well, they're coming to the right place for sure, because right now, Endpoint, second in this tournament with demos, which is odd for them because in all of Europe throughout the season, one of the lowest demoing teams, but they realize how important they are on this stage and realize if you can tilt your opponents off of there, you might take that series.
Well, I was seeing no signs right there that Spacestation Gaming were tilted. Instead, they are taking this stage, taking this wonderful Dickies crowd into their own hands. A brilliant performance, and what I like from that especially, Stumpy, is that that wasn't the Daniel show. Retals, and in particular Arsenal, so involved with all of SSG's play.
Retals has been just so fun to watch this entire tournament. Sure, we speak about Arsenal having this issues. He was feeling a little bit sick previously, but was it Daniel who stepped up for that? No, not necessarily. It was Retals, the man who's been alongside him for such a long time now. He knew that his teammate needed a shoulder to lean on, and Retals stepped up. One of the best performers throughout the entire group stage. And even getting to this point, he has been immaculate.
Not only one of the best performers throughout this tournament, but one of the best leaders in the game. It has been so fun to watch the evolution of Retals throughout his progression through the rival series all the way to the RLCS, and he's really put this team on his shoulders as he gets a big save on the goal line there.
Huge save, but it was off a Relating Wave double tap. That could be important for Endpoint. Seeing Wave get in this game. He has carried Endpoint to games in his time. When Archie first joined, Relating Wave was the most refreshed player, looking like a brand new version of himself. Still yet to really feel comfortable in these LAN environments.
Arsenal!
Another huge Spacestation redirect!
Incredible from Arsenal, receiving it from Daniel, turning around in the box and slamming it back behind the defender. Arsenal stepping up when he gets to the stage, when he gets the energy behind him, he just thrives.
We also had Rettles involved as well. He didn't get a bump, didn't get a demo, but just being there, sniffing around for that Endpoint blood, made it so much more difficult for Metsonoras, one of the best defenders in Rocket League history, to get his name to the ball. But they're coming back. Here's Mets on attack. He puts it into the top corner. And it's just not their day. It remains Spacestation 1-0.
Accuracy woes continue to plague Endpoint here. They need to push forward. They need to get a goal, because right now it's starting to look like a major issue as Daniel avoids the Goomba Stomp there from Relating Wave. And Daniel, not much boost, but he's picking up little pads, pushes forward. Here comes Arsenal off the back wall, puts another shot on target, and it's absolute money.
Yet again, Arsenal steps up. Metsonoras getting tangled in the corner with Archie, and the genius play to go off that side wall, send it back behind the defender again. He does not want to shoot in the path of anybody. He wants to send it behind and wrong wheel any opposition.
I'm gonna go back to words you used. You think he's still feeling a little sticky?
I do not think he's got a Nicky Tummy anymore.
He's looking just completely confident right now out there. Could be a third for Space Station. And not getting every loose touch. Every ball is falling to them. Daniel's taking to the skies. That's what you want to see if you're a Space Station Gaming fan. Endpoint just struggling so much to deal with it. Look at their boost in that top left corner, and Space Station almost full.
A heat map of this game, I swear, would just look like a red blob in front of the Endpoint net. It has just been white-hot pressure from SSG.
Well, and that's what's been different in this series compared to when they played against Moist. They were so spread out because of that respect, the mechanics that Moist present. But right now, Space Station saying, Endpoint, show us something, because if you don't, we're just going to continue to press forward and just box you in your own half.
But Endpoint have had chances. The defense of Space Station Gaming has just held so strong. And Rettles, the man at the top of the demo leaderboard, removing Metsonoras from the pitch.
And then teeing up Arsenal again. He's already got some beautiful redirects in this series, in this game, in fact.
Oh, big ball.
Rettles is there, another touch. It's getting past the Endpoint defense. They are being breached time after time. Another Space Station Gaming touch. Relating Wave clears it, but where to? Only as far as Rettles. He's going to take a couple of touches for himself as well with no boost. Space Station Gaming having so much fun. That pinch goes goalwards, but Relating Wave will be there.
Well, and the big issue right now is Endpoint just forced to go with panic clears. There's no control, demo on the back line.
How do you control it?
No! Getting another one here. That's a hat trick.
The hat trick for Arsenal. How do you control it when you're removed from the pitch? What are you supposed to do? A tap in the end. But a full team effort from SSG.
The master tactician in this room right now is that guy in the crowd who had the sign asking for demos. They are proving so effective against Endpoint. They can't deal with them. Rettles, he's just sweeping them away. Every time Space Station Gaming attack Archie, can he win this one? Not quite. Endpoint desperate for a goal.
Endpoint being shoved aside, and SSG looking just clearly dominant. This time Arsenal intercepting off the bump. He continues going with so much speed and pace. Endpoint barely catch up on the run back.
Suave and scary Space Station Gaming style. Arsenal, you kept thinking he was going to be out the play. The recoveries he was showing, sublime. Endpoint have to pick themselves back up. They have to keep going. We are so early on in a best of 7. Need I remind everyone? Sure, there's so much on the line. Top 12 if you make it, top 16 if you lose, but we do have time. They can turn this one around. They can improve. Things can change for them. Relating Wave, another miss, unfortunately, and it's going to come back to their territory.
You just have to have better touches. There are a few moments where it just looks like rookie errors that come in, and when you lose the fundamentals, you're going to be losing the series.
Well, and that's what I was talking about there, Stumpy, is no control, and what a save. Daniel and Rettles combined powers to pinch that ball and keep it out. But right now, we need to see more control from Endpoint. It just seems really scattered and really not much method to the madness right now, as Relating Wade off the ceiling and Rettles pushes that one towards midfield. And Archie getting in, and Endpoint need to score now if they want a realistic opportunity.
I mean, so far we're seeing a similar tale in Game 2 than we saw in Game 1. Endpoint going 3 behind, having some chances. Space Station Gaming just defending it so comfortably.
A pre-jumping Daniel is a terrifying prospect.
Oh, they go again. There's Daniel from the goal. That one is maybe sneaking over to Archie. Not quite. Metsonoras has goal in front of him. He also has defenders. Can he get it past them? He can. It hits the crossbar. Endpoint get a goal back for the second game in a row.
Finally, they get some blood away from SSG. Mets with a flip reset can get it over both Daniel and Arsenal. And who is there to clean it up? The top man in Endpoint, it is Archie.
And that's who you need to see the ball go into the back of the net. You need him to get a goal, to get the confidence built up. Right now, Archie, oh no, this is dangerous for SSG. And Relating Wave, bring him back within 1.
Suddenly things get really, really scary for Space Station Gaming. Archie gets involved, then he flicks it over the top for a relating wave. 33 seconds. Can Endpoint get back into it?
A clear error from Rettles as well. Had a brilliant opportunity to clear it away, but just was completely unable to. One goal separating these two teams. The kickoff is vital.
The key kickoff of the series so far. Archie's been beaten by Arsenal. Relating Wave has to head back. How good is his challenge? Rettles is there. The boost control is Space Station's, but the ball belongs to Metsonoris. He gets it on the top of Daniel. One more, it could be good for them. But the boost and the touch for Rettles, absolutely huge. They're sending Endpoint back again. Maybe
it's open.
Arsenal to win the game. It belongs to Space Station.
Arsenal, yet again. That man has got 4 goals in game 2. He has dominated Endpoint at the behest of every single European watching. A brilliant performance from him. Very rarely do we see people get hat-tricks, let alone
4 in one game, 5 in the series so far, and we're just finishing up game number 2. And SSGs can wipe the sweat from their brows as their team goes up 2 games to 0.
Surely, at this point, if you are Endpoint, you have to be thinking tactical timeout. Everybody at this stage, actually everybody in Worlds throughout, has had 1 per series, and they can be so effective. Space Station will have a lot more. I think Rettles saved that. I think he stopped Arsenal getting a 5th goal there, but they're still looking happy, still looking excited. The game's not over quite yet. Now it dies. It's 2-0 Space Station Gaming. They're winning it with a flourish.
If I'm Endpoint's coach right now, if I'm Eclipse, I'm just saying timeout. We just need to take it back because this crowd is the 4th player. They are lifting them up. We want to subdue them. The crowd is going to try and talk over us as much as they want. But Endpoint, they just need to chill everybody out a little bit. Getting an early lead is the biggest aim.
Well, and while it's not only a battle on the field between all 6 players, it's a battle between Eclipse and Chrome, both trying to download each other's playbooks. And right now, Chrome has the better game plan, coming out, really pushing Endpoint back to the back line. And for me, right now, I agree. We've got to see that tactical timeout, and they do call that right now.
We have just heard in our ears that Endpoint have indeed taken that tactical timeout. Now this can be huge. Also huge there is Daniel had 4 goals fewer than Arsenal, but only 96 points less. Even though he's not getting on the end of the goals, that's how involved Daniel has been.
Yeah.
All of SSG involved. You've been saying Rettles' name so much. Everything is working for them. Nothing is working for Endpoint. What can Eclipse possibly be saying right now?
Well, you've got to focus on hitting the shots that present themselves. We've seen 2 big ones that haven't gone in, and for me, if you see that opportunity at this level of gameplay and you miss that, it's going to be a rough night at the office.
My biggest issue with Endpoint right now is those fundamentals are so lacking. You look at Space Station, apart from that one Rettles miss off the backboard, there are very few moments that you can pinpoint that a fundamental mechanic has gone wrong. Very few whiffs have occurred, ultimately. That whiff counter that we saw on the wildcard stage, we're not going to be seeing that filled in from Space Station Gaming. I would also argue that Endpoint, continue on your demos. That is how SSG got, what, 2 of their goals? If you get those demos and you continue with how you go.
Look at this, here we go. They were just throwing some paper around or something.
Oh!
Hey! There we go.
I want Daniel to intercept that, but he is quite short. So
He tried.
That's basketball. There's no interceptions, but it's okay. We'll forgive you here.
I don't know what basketball is.
We'll show you later tonight, but either way, the players on SSG feeling so comfortable as we get a look at Eclipse and his team taking that time out. And for me, I've noticed that on the side of Endpoint, Archie seems to be one of those players where if he does get tilted, it's so hard to get out of his own mind. And that's on Eclipse right now to try and pull him out of there.
And it's also because ultimately, he is a player that is technically on loan, right? He's on loan from Semper.
Yeah.
Like, this is his team. He wants them to succeed. He needs them to pull through. But Eclipse has to wrestle him back. He has to get them alongside the veterans of Meta, of Wave in game number 3.
We do head to game number 3 with Space Station Gaming looking like everything is going their way. Arsenal already sniffing out there for more goals, almost gets himself on the score sheet straight away. And despite the tactical timeout that Endpoint have just taken, they have proven to be magic throughout their introduction to the RLCS. Space Station look better already in this game.
Well, and what they're doing is just cutting the passing lanes. They see those balls and realize, okay, yeah, I'm supposed to rotate out, but I've got to touch on this ball. I know I'm going to just disrupt this play enough, and it might just stay in our own half to keep the offense going. And so far it has. SSG looking so strong, and again, Chaos on the side of Endpoint. Another demo for Rettles.
Chaos continuing from Space Station 2. From last game, Rettles got himself a couple of demos, made sure that he was able to remove Endpoint players from the pitch. And if he continues that in game number 3, you have to look towards Space Station going on to match point. But there's still 4 minutes before we even get close to that.
Every time Arsenal's getting the ball, I'm just becoming expectant. I'm taking a huge breath of air, wondering what's about to happen. I'm sure everyone will be thinking the exact same thing as Archie sends it forward against Arsenal. Arsenal's there in that corner. That's Met, the ball's going to hit the ceiling. Metanoris just wants to follow this ball up, needs that second touch. Relating Wave, playing in front of the ball. That's what we need to see from him.
Just seeing those redirects, those opportunities facing themselves, that's what's going to inspire confidence for Endpoint.
Demo.
But if Retals keeps removing them, then it's going to make any attack that they have even harder to form in the first place.
Here is Archie, puts that one to the backboard. Retals has to see it away. Metanoris has missed, another miss from Endpoint. It actually works out well that time. Great touch, Relating Wave. Good finish. Daniel, though, with another save.
Previously, in our wildcard stage, we saw a couple of errors from Metanoris, and that lost them games, it lost them series. They cannot continue.
And so far, if you're an Endpoint fan, you gotta feel much better here in game number 3. 3 minutes have crossed the clock now as Reynolds gets that big boost steal, but still, Endpoint yet to be scored on, and in games 1 and 2, all it took was 30 seconds for Space Station.
Oh, Daniel shows his mechanics of that attempted redirect. Looking good again for Space Station. Here comes Reynolds into the corner. Metanoris, a good challenge. Arsenal is there waiting. Daniel's going to head back. Look how much boost he's got. He already had 61.
Oh, that's dangerous.
But that's it. A very awkward pass. Relating Wave comes in, sends it to the backboard. Rettles was already there, though.
Metzer was waiting on the right wing. He had an opportunity to pass it across, and yet he didn't take it. Look at your teammates, Endpoint. They are there to help.
1 or 2 missed incorrect decisions coming in from Endpoint, but you have to say they are playing just that little bit better. Good touch again from Archie, although maybe actually a little bit heavy. Now Daniel's in the area. Huge flip reset. He wanted to bump Relating Wave, who had to be so brave up there in the sky.
And great touch there from Reynolds to poke it back into his own corner, trying to slow things down as Metanoris, good 50 there to keep it alive. And Metanoris got a piece of Daniel as well, so no follow-up for Arsenal, but he does push that downfield. And a big miss from Relating Wave. Arsenal steals the goal.
Relating Wave, hands on head, but with a laugh in the end. This is make or break. The trail turns blue. Mets wasn't there regardless. The biggest error we've seen so far, and I'm going to be completely honest, I love Endpoint. You do not laugh that off. You need to just focus back up and get going.
I absolutely agree with you there. You've got to focus up. You've got to make sure that doesn't happen again. Because for Endpoint, they've looked so good. Big double commit on the back line for Space Station there. Like to see the communication be a little bit better as Daniel slows this ball down, going to push it towards midfield. Good challenge there as Reynolds sees that pass coming, but Relating Wave wins the challenge, and looks like Metanoris pushed up too far, didn't have the boost in the tank for the follow-up.
The pass looks a little bit heavy there from Archie, but it works out almost okay. A demo comes in. Will this space open up Space Station Gaming? There's Archie wanting to get involved. That has to happen. Relating Wave
big bump!
ball, and he's bumped as well. Metanoris should be okay, but Daniel, he'd have had a sixth sense he could have turned around and put that one to bed. Archie is met by Relating Wave. Can Endpoint get this one chance that they crave?
Minute 20, Endpoint with that one just awful goal that came in against him. Space Station there running off that high right now. Left wall sees Reynolds go high. Arsenal, he waits in the center, sees that Archie's touch is going to be weak, but Archie is able to land and catch, but blocked from the falling Space Station player. The Stratosphere, certainly their friend.
At this point in the first 2 games, Endpoint were 3 goals down. Now it's only 1. They will have chances, but you have to keep an eye on the oncoming shark. Daniel doubles Space Station's lead.
Daniel's still in school, so you know he's going to read this one well. All 3 members of Endpoint bunched up at the top of the box, and you hear the chance for Daniel coming out.
Everybody on Space Station is just having a brilliant time. They were laughing, they were like emoting at each other when that goal went in as well. Everything is going their way, trying to buck that trend of European dominance so far at the World Championship.
The read's just so good from the backboard. The pre-jump from Daniel, that is outrageous. It just tees up Archie, but you love to see the fun and flair that Daniel's having. Metanoris is coming into the corner. Endpoint trying so hard just to get something to stick. It's not happening. Space Station's cars scattered across the field, always just seem to fall in the perfect place to block them away. Metanoris being beaten by Reynolds, who's following up again. Wants to get it past Archie, but Archie does get a touch.
Final 15 as Space Station tick down the seconds, going through to game 4 with every single one in hand. It will not be Endpoint's game. Here in Dallas, we will be going to game 4 with Endpoint on their deathbed and Space Station wanting to put them to sleep.
We have never had a reverse sweep in an RLCS best of 7. If that is to happen, something astronomical is going to have to shift in the Endpoint camp.
No better time than now, and Endpoint already used that timeout. They have less than 60 seconds right now to try and figure out how to beat Spacestation, but honestly, in my opinion right now, it's not a matter of mechanics that are winning Spacestation games. It's a matter of game sense. They're just seeing exactly where the ball's going to be and placing themselves accordingly.
And that's my issue with Endpoint as well. Spacestation got all those fundamentals down. We can point out one instance where Rettles missed the ball. That's fine, that happens.
Sure.
It's a game of Rocket League, right? But then there was that touch from Relating Wave that was just utterly abysmal. Spacestation, they laugh it off. They're allowed to. In the Mobile 1 high performance replay, we are seeing Spacestation take the dominant lead.
Yeah, they are just dominant. That is the perfect word for it. They are the better team in pretty much every aspect right now. And the game plan from Chrome is working to perfection. They're not having to overextend. Every now and then, they're inviting Endpoint pressure upon them because the passes are being read, and there's been times where Stumpy and I have been silently screaming, saying, hit it left, hit it right to an Endpoint player, and they're going to the backboard. Decision's not right, mechanics not there. But they do have one more game, at least, to change it.
They've got to make sure the peripheral vision is on point, and where they could capitalize is off of these kickoffs. We've known Space Station has been having issues with their kickoffs, just plagued with problems, but they come out of this one just fine. Daniel flip reset, ball coming down, waterfalls, but Relating Wave there on the crossbar.
There's already pressure on Endpoint's net straight away over here in Utopia. Just have to keep it at 0-0 for as long as possible. Maybe they'll get themselves a goal.
Daniel pre-jumping yet again. Game number 4, and he is as confident as ever. He is the tallest 5-foot man I've ever met in my life.
I mean, it's so funny when you look at him on stage and then you see him play in game. It is just a complete shift. He just seems to evolve when the Rocket League play develops.
And Archie, he just responded with a pre-jump of his own. Floats in net, blocks away an early shot from SSG.
We've seen 2 North American players using the Ghostbusters car, and now Metsonoris, he's got a car change of his own to mix things up. That's something you like to see. Archie, he flicks it high. Will Endpoint be able to coast their way to a victory right here? It's been Space Station gaining pressure from the off. They just have to get involved. Arsenal's going to put this one across. Rettles is going to read that all day long.
He just comes from midfield, full boost all the way down.
Look at that.
Oh, and you want to see game sense? That's it right there, baby.
That positioning is perfect. He just full boost, full send, full goal, get the win.
Get the win. It's looking very close for Space Station right now. Metsonoris goes up. Arsenal, this touch is so easy for him to read all by himself and follow through in the air. You want to see more close control from these Endpoint players. You want to see more precise passes. You want to see something incisive from them. Space Station Gaming snuffing out every chance they have, and Daniel down the other end. He's getting all the touches in town. Archie so near to being beaten there by the dancing Daniel. Metsonoris with one of those risky passes across his own goal line, but that one maybe will work out better.
You know, and I'm always so confused when opponent, Daniel trying to avoid that bump. He does though as Relating Wave goes up. Another pass off the crossbar, and Arsenal wants none of that, just bombs it downfield. Him and Rettles in tow, trying to form some offense, and Relating Wave pokes this one over to Metsonoris. That one might, nope. Daniel gonna miss that one, and my goodness, I don't even know what's going on.
Just next to me, Stumpy had his hand in the air saying, wait a second, something's developing. That pass comes across, and it's disappointing. What keeps happening to these Endpoint attacks? Daniel almost scores. Arsenal's coming in as well. He's bumped out the way. Arsenal could kill it right here. You expect a huge save from Relating Wave. Endpoint continuing to survive.
Archie descended long, but Mets unable to get a touch on that one. Pinches towards the corner. Archie again whiffing. We spoke a lot about him being that target man for Endpoint, but he has been far from perfection.
Arsenal's round the corner now. He's got no boost, but look how much respect he still has. Who's closing him down from Endpoint? In the end, it was 2 of them. The team dynamic not quite there. Space Station Gaming pulling them apart at will. That one almost sneaks in the back of the net, but instead it's easy Space Station Gaming defense.
Oh, and I've never seen Stumpy so mad. So many plays are possible.
It was open!
It was absolutely open, and we've talked about it, Stumpy. The accuracy needs to be there as Arsenal goes off of the bar and out.
Just a touch wide from Arsenal keeps this as a 1-0 game. With 2 minutes 10 left, Space Station looking as if this is theirs to secure. Arsenal has to go against Relating Wave. And RC, baby, gets the second in the game.
Close post and in, my goodness. Great vision seeing Relating Wave trying to play patiently. and gets the nice touch to rattle it home.
There's one or two wry smiles on the Endpoint Gaming face cams. Over at Spacestation Gaming, it's sheer joy and jubilation. This is clearly theirs to win. It has been for a while in truth. And they're trying to show off in front of this crowd. They want to put on a show. They want to put themselves in that conversation for world champions. That is why these teams are here. Spacestation Gaming, they have that belief. And based on this, the way they've put an under-the-weather Endpoint, let's be honest, but still Endpoint to the sword, shows how good they could be, Snoopy.
I mean, they're just not esports athletes. They are entertainers, and they are putting on a show. Dickey's Arena, are you not entertained?
Spacestation Gaming, the home fans are putting on the best show of their lives. Daniel to go wide, relating wave to block. But who else than Arsenal?
So many goals in this series for Arsenal. What's one more to add to the collection? It just went straight to him. There he was. Spacestation, the reads that they have, utterly perfect. They're not overextending, they're not forcing it. They are just playing pure controlled Rocket League at its best.
And it is something to admire as well. So many people have said, you know, they've not even won a regional yet. They haven't even come close to winning a major. And yet here they are at the World Championship, showing up, taking down Europe's number 3 seed. That time they were unable to do it, but Rettles showing off another open net, just saved away by Daniel.
A team that was so close in London. They were so near to taking down Moist. It didn't quite happen. Now they're coming back with a flourish, coming back with a flair. Spacestation Gaming on Utopia, having the time of their lives. Endpoint, they get themselves a goal. They get on the score sheet. It may well matter. The end for Spacestation gets that little bit trickier.
Plenty of time to climb back in this one, but the kickoff going to be ever so important. Endpoint wasting no time to get that goal.
How is it approached? Endpoint needing 2 with 54 seconds left. So getting off the kickoff would be monstrous for them. Right-hand wing, sees relating wave, try and tackle
Great
Daniel.
challenge.
Does manage to. Now Archie with 50 boost goes up the door, but Rettles was waiting there, so choreographed.
Last time this happened, Endpoint did get one more goal. Will they be able to again? Is anyone there? There is this relating wave. Rettles clears it away and then pinches it. A monumental touch.
And right now, Spacestation Gaming just need to hold on for dear life. They need to burn this clock. They need to keep boost away from Endpoint. And Arsenal keeping that ball away from Archie. In relating wave, and here comes Daniel. Gets dumped by relating wave, and Endpoint needed now.
Get more opportunities though forming. Archie to shoot just the right-hand side. Finally putting that press on Spacestation Gaming. But with the final 10 seconds counting down, it has to go in now.
Once again from Arsenal, exact touches that he and his teammates needed. As they go for these pre-jumps, the crowd, they're counting down, ringing out around them. Spacestation Gaming make it to the top 12 with a clean sweep against Endpoint.
Pull out the brooms. Spacestation Gaming is here to play and clean up the competition.
Winner of this match was going forward to play version 1. It is going to be a North American derby. 2 of the best teams come out of this region who faced off over in the Spring Major, who've been facing off this entire season so far, will be splitting the crowd, and that is going to be an absolute banger.